In the recent video Little Blue Box, Dundas Junction Modulator asked me how I added ground throws to my switches. Dundas Junction Modulator is a veteran with years of expertise, so I don't know if he really needs me to tell him how, but either way, here goes. My switches are off-the-shelf microengineering number 6, and yes, I did remove the internal spring that keeps the points in position in order to have a much smoother points transition. If you want to keep things simple, and if you're going to take one thing home from watching this video, it would be to always keep it simple. This is probably all you need to switch the points. However, if you're after a more manual feel like me, having miniature ground throws to throw is quite nice. Plus, guests, especially non-model railroading guests, absolutely love them. For reference, I'm using N-scale ground throws from Caboose Industries. N-scale ground throws, despite still being massive,
it's so big.
Yes, it is, are less of an eyesore versus their HO scale counterparts, yet have enough plastic that my clumsy giant fingers can still grasp them and move them. The microengineering switches come with 3 holes pre-drilled in the piece of track that this real-life manufacturer defines as the switch rod.
It's so big.
And if you, like me, are not really a railway expert, that's the part that the points, the pieces of track that move back and forth, are connected to. By inserting a small piece of steel wire inside a piece of styrene pipe, and you can allow the metal to move freely while the styrene sits on the ground. Just don't use real nippers to cut steel and use instead proper pliers. Don't ask me how I learned that lesson. Bend the ends of the metal to make a little U-shaped piece that looks like this, and I'm sure you know where this is going. Keeping the points in the center, insert one end into one of the holes of the switch's rod, whether lateral or if you carved out some clearance in the center. Slide the other end into your ground throw, set this to center as well, and then when everything is in place, secure the ground throw with some track nails. And you're done. In case you're wondering, centering both points and ground throw at install ensures that the points can move freely in both directions. Again, don't ask me how I learned this lesson. Despite being N-scale, the distance traveled by the ground throw is more than sufficient, and there's still a bit of spring action left in the points, keeping them firmly in place. If you'll care for one last piece of advice, always do your future self a solid by going the extra mile. A little extra work now saves a lot of work later. In my case, each switch has 7 wires, one for each outer rail, one for each inner rail, and since the points rely on these minute pieces of metal for contact, I ran a wire for each at the back of each point, which moves the least, reducing hopefully the chance of damage. The 7th and last wire is for the frog if you ever decide to polarize it. I used to use automatic frog polarizers, but their reliability quickly came into question. And ultimately, they were only hiding the real problem, which was present at track level. A well-constructed model with proper power pickup should not need magic tricks to navigate a switch. As always, I enjoy answering your questions, so please feel free to put them in the community tab. Know that I will, sooner or later, get to them. Until then, I will see you by the trackside.